something else I wanted to say. Ooh. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. All right, so I'm gonna start with the juiciest question that everybody keeps asking me. Have you lost weight since stopping keto? Yes, I lost weight since stopping keto. What? I'm gonna get into that later though. All right, so why did I start keto? So I started keto last year, first time around, with my mom and her friend, and I lost 20 pounds within the first 3 months. So from January to March, I lost 20 pounds. And that meant I wasn't too far off from my goal weight. But then around the fall, winter, I gained back 10 to 12 of those 20 pounds I had lost. So then this year, I was like, ugh, girl, you gotta do something. So I started keto again because I knew that was like a quick gateway, segue, whatever, for me to lose weight. Now, when I started keto, I knew that this wasn't something I wanted to do long term. It was just kind of a way for me to like ease my way into cleaning up what I was eating and to losing weight. So I started keto again this year, and in July, the first day of July, I officially started a low carb lifestyle and stopped keto. So why did I stop keto? I just wanted something more flexible. Now, keto can be flexible, but for a few reasons, it just wasn't flexible for me. Now, you can literally Keto Fi anything out here. Like, there are literally so many substitutions. Brands have come out with so many different keto snacks, meals, whatever. So I'm not saying that keto isn't sustainable, but for me, it was not. So for example, when I go out, well, we're quarantined, so I really don't, but I like to get sweet cocktails. I like to have my mozzarella sticks, and that's fine. You can have those things in moderation on keto, but the issue is when you start to have it too much while you're on keto. So that's like me eating a super high fat meal and then eating 3 cupcakes after. Someone actually made a post kind of explaining that, and I'll put it here, but you can't be a little bit of keto because you will end up gaining weight or your weight loss will stall. And that was something I was doing so frequently, especially when quarantine started, just because we were home 98% of the day. Also, I was just so like caught up in being in the state of ketosis. Like, I literally would just stress myself out. I used to pee on those sticks every day, and those sticks can be inaccurate, and you can still be burning fat and it might not show that you're in ketosis. So I was just losing my mind and just trying to be in ketosis. That was another big reason. And then the third reason is when I thought about my transition to low carb, I was kind of scared of introducing complex carbs and simple carbs into my diet. And I knew right then, I was like, oh, Chelsea, you got to change your relationship with food, because that's not healthy to literally be scared to eat something. I also started doing a lot of research and just seeing that you can still lose weight without being in a state of ketosis or without following a ketogenic diet. So I decided on low carb just because I was kind of starting to feel restricted and kind of wanted to see what was out there. And if it didn't work for me, then I knew what worked for me and I could go back to that. You have options. Like, it's not like I have to do keto the rest of my life. I have to do this the rest of my life. I have to be paleo the rest of my life. No, I mean, you can. It works for people. But I like having those options. And I did a lot of research when I transitioned, or when I was thinking about it, and just learning more about food, certain food groups, and weight loss. So the biggest thing for weight loss is you just need to be in a caloric deficit. And you can research what that means, but that is literally the only way you can lose weight and lose fat, is being in a caloric deficit. Or you might hear people say they're like in their cutting phase. That's them being in a caloric deficit, losing the weight. And then the bulking phase would be gaining the weight to put on more muscle. So I just knew that, low carb, like, it was time to just transition to low carb. Now, although I'm not doing keto or following a keto diet anymore, I'm still eating keto snacks just because the macros are better. They're usually lower in carbs. They may have a little bit more fat, but that's fine. I eat 50 grams of total carbs a day. And I have a higher protein than I did on keto, and then low fat. So I'm not focused on having like a high fat like keto. You're trying to get, higher fats. So that's what I'm currently doing. I still use substitutes. Like I still eat sugar-free snacks, sugar-free desserts. I use Swerve, which is a sugar-free sweetener. I'll use stevia. So really the only sugar I ever have is if I'm having like a cheat, but I hate saying cheat because you're not cheating yourself out of anything. Or if I'm eating something like fruit that's higher in sugar. So like watermelon, grapes, bananas, things like that. But other than that, I'm still not eating a lot of sugar. Like I said, unless it's something that's off plan from what I was supposed to be eating. What did I learn from keto? If it weren't for keto, I honestly would not have learned about what I was eating, what I was putting in my body, I had no clue what macronutrients were. And just learning that there's sugar in literally everything. I remember picking up a bottle of Canada Dry ginger ale, and the carbs, I want to say it was between like 30 to 50 grams of carbs for one soda. Mind you, I eat 50 grams of carbs a day. So if I had a ginger ale, that'd be all I could have for the day. So there's just sugar, carbs, and so many things. And also just finding that there's so many alternatives to those things. Like you would have never thought that you could make a sandwich bun, making a chaffle, using cheese, eggs, almond flour, and baking powder. Like certain things you just would have never thought of. Keto kind of introduced me to that. And then also I've just met so many amazing women on my fitness and food Instagram account who are kind of on the same journey. And just talking to them about different things has just been amazing. So I learned just so much from keto. And I also learned recently dairy. So that's something else I've also cut back on a lot is dairy. I'm not dairy free. Don't know if I could do that. I might challenge myself to it, but there's just so much dairy in a lot of things. And just, I was consuming so much dairy when I was on keto. And I think a lot of people have so many misconceptions about keto. And you'll hear like dirty keto, clean keto, lazy keto. But for me, at one point, I was just eating like cheese and a lot of high fat meat, like beef burgers. And I don't know, I just didn't feel well. So I will say now that I've cleaned up my diet more with being low carb, I'm eating a lot more vegetables, rice, potatoes, and a protein. That's usually what my meals consist of. Whatever my meal is after I work out. So if I have a morning workout, then my lunch will be a little higher in carb and my dinner will be very low in carbs. Or if I have an evening workout, my dinner will be higher in carbs and my lunch will be lower in carbs. That's just personal preference. And because I don't like going to bed feeling like super, super heavy. Sorry, I'm like going off tangent. And then also, how did I transition? So someone asked me my carbs when I transitioned. So like I said, when I was on keto, I was kind of like mentally tracking, but I wasn't looking at calories. I was just looking at carbs and fat. So now that I've actually been tracking on Carb Manager, I actually do count my calories. I do look at the fat, the protein, and the carbs. So I've always been at 50 grams of total carbs. Even when I was on keto, I tried to not go above that, but right now 50 grams. I may up it soon, but I'm not sure. And then like low fat, like I said, and the moderate protein. What else? Someone said, and this question kind of like irritated me. So sorry if you're watching this. But they said, does the weight loss or weight maintenance work without being in a state of ketosis? Girl, that's like saying Weight Watchers doesn't work and Weight Watchers is portion control. That's like saying people who just follow like a paleo, like normal people, not normal people, but people who aren't in a state of ketosis. That means the other percentage of the world isn't losing weight or maintaining their weight loss, which I think is dumb because people are on Atkins, they lose weight. Beach body, whatever it's called, they lose weight. So it's really, I think, just personal preference and what you are looking for when it comes to food. Something else that is key for me, just in general, is movement and exercise. Yes, you can lose weight being in a caloric deficit, but if you want to tone or whatever it is, or exercise is important. Now, I'm not talking about waist trainers or sweat belts because they don't work. I'm talking about exercise, strength training, not just killing yourself with cardio. Cardio is great, but you can lose weight doing strength training as well. And it'll kind of tone you up a bit more than just running on a treadmill or just going walking every day. Those are great, but you kind of need to add some more to it. So people ask me how I kind of just stay motivated with fitness and working out 5 to 6 days a week. You have to decide this is what you want. Like, point blank period. You got to decide this is what you want. And once you see the progress, it literally becomes so addicting. Like, so addicting. Like, literally, my parents are like, you look at yourself in the mirror a lot. And I'm like, yeah, because I worked hard for this. Like, I want to look at the gains. Like, come on. But yeah, deciding this is what you want. And then also there are just so many mental benefits other than the physical benefits to exercise. And I don't know, I just like it. I like planning out my workouts. I like working out in the at-home gym. I used to like going to the gym before COVID. But finding exercises that you like. If you like Zumba, you like Twerk Fit, CrossFit, spin class, finding exercises that you like is a great way to start. And also kind of having like accountability partners. When I first started going to the gym this year, to a new gym this year, I went with my mom, my friend, and someone that does my hair. And one, it helped because I was scared to go to LA Fitness, which is a huge gym, by myself. And then also I was just waking up at 4:30 a.m. every morning. I just didn't have the discipline at that point when I first started to do it without them texting the group chat, like, where you at? You up? Wake up. We got to work out. And then eventually the discipline came in, but then COVID happened. So, work out from home. But yeah, decide like this is what you want. Go after it. And I just love proving people wrong. So I had someone who said that when I first started keto last year, she was like, keto doesn't work. That's not healthy. It's not long-term. There's so many people out here who have lost so much weight on keto, who have improved their health, who have kept the weight off for years. So that's not true. If a ketogenic diet works for you, do it. If you want to try it out, do it. I think keto is great, but I think it's okay to want to switch it up. It's not a commitment. You don't have to be committed to that. But if you are going to change it up, you don't just fall off the wagon and just gain all that weight back and lose all of your progress. And I just want to talk about your relationship with food. So something I also realized when I transitioned to low carb was you can have the donut, just don't eat all 10 of the donuts. And then that mindset after eating the donut, instead of being like, oh my God, I just ruined all my progress. I just gained 10 pounds. First of all, you didn't. You can't gain 10 pounds from a donut. You can't gain 5 pounds from a donut. And then also just knowing that like your body, if it wants it, eat it. Eat it. And I'm not saying go eat the whole thing. And for some people who don't have a good relationship with food, that may not work and you may not be there at that point. But I think once you get to that point, you kind of change your mindset about certain foods. And then I had something else I wanted to say. Ooh. Oh, intermittent fasting. Someone asked me if I still do intermittent fasting, and they said I ate 3 meals a day. I don't eat 3 meals a day. I stopped intermittent fasting just because the time I eat my dinner and the time I work out in the morning now, because grad school starts and going back to work, my schedule had to change. I don't really do intermittent fasting, and I still have lost weight. But intermittent fasting does work, and I think it's really helpful, especially even when you are doing keto, because your body just enters that state of ketosis, and I just feel like you're in like a deep ketosis, a deep state of just burning fat. And then also how many meals a day I eat. So I eat lunch and dinner. And then in the morning, now that my routine has changed, after I work out, I will drink a protein shake afterwards, just because I don't want a headache or anything like that. But that's really about it. My meals, I'll have my heavier carb meal after my workout, and then my lighter one as my second meal. So my first meal is always a heavier and carb meal. And when I say heavier, I mean that it just has like rice or potatoes or something. whereas the lighter meal doesn't really have any complex carbs like the rice, the potatoes. But it's working. I would say do your research, track your calories, follow accounts that are kind of doing what you want to do with your eating. I've been following some, not dietitians, I guess you would call them nutritionists, some of their accounts. And it's really helped to change my outlook on food. So I will leave them down below. But yes, you can lose weight without doing keto. And that's that. That's all I gotta say. Being in a caloric deficit is key, especially in the days when you're not moving around. That's why everyone's macros are different, because everyone leads a different lifestyle. Because I move my body more and I work out 5 to 6 days a week, my intake might be a little bit different than someone who does not exercise, or someone who works a job that they are literally sitting down 24/7. Whereas my job, I'm up and moving all the time. So you have to take that into account. Therefore, I'm not sharing my macros on here because everyone's are different. I just suggest looking up a macro calculator. There are so many. I actually compared my results from like 5 different macro calculators, just because some were saying to eat like 1,800 calories. Some were saying to eat 100 grams of carbs. And I will eventually increase my carbs. But for right now, I'm comfortable with 50 grams of carbs, total carbs. But yeah, so I hope I answered any questions you guys had. If I didn't, you can DM me on Instagram or at Carb Cutting Chelsea, or you can leave them in the comments section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not downplaying keto. I love keto, and I would recommend it to anyone who's looking to lose weight or kind of just learn more about food and changing their lifestyle. But thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and have a good day. Bye.